All right, we're breaking the heat with some storms that potentially could have some gusty winds and heavy downpours associated with them, and we're also keeping our eye in the tropics. I'm Storm Track 12 meteorologist Les Still here with your Friday morning web quickcast heading into the weekend. The beach is definitely going to be a place to be for the day today, as we do have hot weather continuing for us. However, you get north and west of Greenville late this afternoon and this evening. That's where we have the best chance of seeing some of these scattered storms. Again, heavy downpours, gusty winds going to be the main threat with this action. Still dealing with the smoke, but very confined area in and around New Bern. And as I mentioned, we're also watching the tropics for the potential for development. Storms will be kind of gusty for later on this afternoon, and not so much worried about the possibility of tornadoes or even for hail. It's going to be the downpouring rains. That'll be brief, but still there. And also maybe some damaging winds for us here in eastern Carolina. Still going to keep the threat tracker in the medium category for tomorrow because of the chance for some scattered storms. Again, heavy downpours, gusty winds, and the hot and humid conditions, as I think with a little sunshine, will be up near 90 degrees. Still humid, but less of a chance of storms as we head in through the day on Sunday. As I mentioned, we're kind of refining where we have the best chance of seeing the smoke from the Craven County wildfire right now. Basically code red as you get east of the Jones County line in towards the Croatan itself. So basically east of Highway 17 where it comes down through Pollocksville and Maysville. And then we're going to continue to see that spread up the Neuse River from the Croatan between Havelock and New Bern this afternoon, this evening, as it makes its way in towards New Bern. Still, though, we could have some of the effects in Pamlico County and also in Beaufort and Carteret County as we go on through this afternoon, this evening, if you are sensitive as far as respiratory distress is concerned. Sea breeze front comes in, that picks the smoke up and blows it in, but not nearly as much smoke production over the last couple of days as we've seen earlier in the week, and also the winds in the atmosphere will kind of disperse it a little bit more. So that's the positive side, is what we've got going against this here. The unfortunate side is, though, some of that may be reaching into the peak, so we may still be dealing with some of this as we head through next week. Storm Track 12 planning forecast shows hot and humid conditions. How about mid-90s yet again, upper 80s at the beaches with those southwesterly winds. Going to get a little gusty, especially this afternoon. Warm and humid overnight tonight with some scattered storms around. We'll look for temperatures into the mid-70s. Yeah, that's going to do it for overnight lows. And again, I think tomorrow make another run towards that 90-degree mark, especially south of the Kinston, New Bern, Oriental line, where we are going to have some peaks of sunshine. Still humid, though. Not really going to break the humidity until the middle to the end of next week. Here's how things play out with Storm Track 12 Future Track. Again, we are tracking a cold front that's coming through the Ohio Valley. It'll touch off those showers and storms north and west of Greenville up towards Raleigh later on this afternoon, and then eventually kind of work their way eastbound as we head overnight tonight. Now, the front's going to be kind of slow moving, so you even notice through the day tomorrow it only making slow progress through, and then it kind of washes out with that high pressure sliding down out of Canada, eventually bringing us some drier air coming in here for the first part of next week. However, there's a caveat to that. And that caveat is what happens down here in the Gulf of Mexico. We are tracking the potential for Debbie to form. Debbie with a Y would be our next storm of the season. And depending on where that tracks, how soon it tracks, what's going to be happening to it, depends on what the ultimate interaction as far as our forecast is concerned. Definitely this morning, you can see we've got a lot of convection going on down there. So we've got a broad area of low pressure trying to develop, and all of our forecast models are jumping on this system. Then, does it come northeast? Does it go towards Texas? That's something we'll have to figure out. Here is our first hurricane of the year, Hurricane Chris. It was only a hurricane for about 12 hours, as it is way up here in the North Atlantic, really starting to lose its definition right now as we speak as far as any kind of tropical characteristics are concerned. But technically, it was a hurricane, now downgraded to a tropical storm. I got a feeling by the end of the day, it will be an extratropical cyclone. 44.8 north latitude. Yeah, it is way up there in the North Atlantic, so no doubt about that. As we head on in through, though, the next several days, it's going to be the jet stream pattern. That's really going to dictate what our weather is going to be like. We do have a trough that's coming in here as we head on through this weekend, or kind of a weakness in between the two ridges. And you'll notice the upper level ridge really refires back out here over the central plain. So we've got more heat that's going to be building out here, looking for a way to get eastbound. Now you'll notice this is the GFS model, and it is picking up on something down in the Gulf of Mexico region. Question is, how does this play out once it gets formed? The trough is going to be coming in across the Great Lakes and northern mid-Atlantic states. So that is normally what tropical cyclones look for. Easy way to get that energy, that heat, into the trough. And normally that would be pulling it up along the Gulf Stream or across the Gulf Coast states, across Florida, and then out over the Gulf Stream. However, depending on how quickly this thing develops down in the Gulf depends on if it makes its connection with this trough or not. If it misses the connection with the trough, then this thing's going to kind of languish down here as we head into the weekend, and then what will happen, we'll actually see that upper level ridge build in over it, which would direct it back over towards Texas, as some computer models are showing. Other computer models, such as the GFS, is picking it up, making the connection with the trough, and sending it out off to the northeast here, in which case we'll have to see just how close it would come for us here in eastern Carolina. A lot of debate as to how this unfolds. Really, it's going to be the timing of it, where exactly that low-level center forms. Is it two separate centers that are competing? Is it one consolidated center? That's really what we're going to have to fine-tune as we go into this weekend. Then once we get a center, then we can kind of figure out how it interacts with this trough. So that's something we'll be keeping our eye on. But you will definitely notice that we do have that trough holding tight into the east as we go into next week. And as a result, with the upper level ridge back out here to the west, that'll keep the heat out there. Upper disturbances potentially coming through in the northwesterly flow with the trough here, so that could give us the chance for scattered showers and storms. Once we get past Monday, as of this point right now, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are kind of up in the air depending on where Debbie goes, where Debbie forms, how quickly it forms as we go on through this weekend. What we're going to be dealing with, though, is some scattered storms, potentially, again, on the strong side later on this evening through the overnight period, and still again for the day tomorrow. Better chance of storms and coverage of storms tomorrow, and then we kind of become more isolated south of Kinston, New Bern, the Oriental line on Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there's going to be tropical moisture around. The question is it going to be in our neighborhood? Is it going to be off the coast? Is the trough going to be faster? Is it going to miss the connection with the trough? So those are all details that we'll have to kind of fine-tune and work out for you as we head on through this weekend. Keep it tuned. Tori and Skip and I will be continuing to keep you updated. And starting on Monday, we've got our replacement for Dominus Brown starting, Ellen Baca. She is going to be starting here at News Channel 12, and probably by middle to the end of next week, you'll catch her on her air for her debut. Have yourself a good weekend. I'm Storm Track 12 meteorologist Les Still.